Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The address by the President constitutes the first building block into the future. It comes at a time when the government has fully taken over and he is firmly handling the steering wheel. Hence, whatever he says here is where we are. Whatever limitations what we need to consider, and whatever achievements we need to register. Honorable Speaker, at bullet point 1.5, the President of the Republic enjoins us to work together amicably, sincerely, and purposefully in the interest of the nation and humanity at large. It is important to underscore that this administration has started with a national development plan, which took over a year to formulate and narrate. But the reality must be underscored that the purpose of addressing this National Assembly is to tell us the condition of the country, the policies of the government, and the administration of the state. The condition of the people of the Gambia is one of poverty. And the fundamental objective of this government should be to eradicate poverty. But if it accepts its transitional character, then the focus would be to minimize poverty and left others to have the objective of eradicating it. So in that sense, we are talking about a transitional development plan that should be more apt than a national development plan. Honorable Speaker, during the impasse, it was revealed to the Gambian people that an agency for sustainable socio-economic development will be established, and it will serve to create a think tank, an expert bank, where all Gambians who have something to contribute and all friends of the Gambia will be able to provide their curriculum vitae, their areas of expertise. And that agency will transform those experts into clusters of experts around the key development issues. And before the 14th of January, provide a transitional development blueprint for the government to be able to implement, and it will hit the ground running. So those who believe that it was just change for its sake, and there was no thought process behind the change, would be mistaken. The guidelines were there, requiring, Honorable Speaker, for a newly constituted government to start by looking at all the policies and strategic plans of all the ministries as a starting point, as a base point, examine their inadequacies, do mid-term review of them to understand what to add to move forward so that government will add value to what it had inherited. That is the way forward. Honorable Speaker, the President did mention the National Development Plan, but went and deal with many sectors, and what we cannot see is the connection between the National Development Plan and the evolution of the different sectors. I hope that as he addresses us in the next year, we'll begin to see the linkage between a plan, programs, and projects so that effectively we can measure whether we are making headway. All the same, we can take what he has given us for its face value and make a critical appraisal of what is before us. Honorable Speaker, we've said that poverty is the key problem, and unemployment is the key source. We have a population of 1.8 million, and I've quoted these statistics before in terms of the number of children, 329,000 being in our primary school plus, 94,000 upper basic school plus, 60,000 plus in our senior secondary school. Combined together, 484,395 children every 12 years will come out of our school system. And you look at page 5, Honorable Speaker, on the trade, industry, regional integration, and employment. Bullet point 2.6. The President mentioned about the 11 million euro youth empowerment. He's talking about 1,000 youngsters. 14 million, which is Skill for Youth Employment Fund, is talking about another 1,000. And 3.9 million US dollars employment creation for youth to build a sustainable peace in the Gambia. Here we're talking about 2,500 young people will be employed in building infrastructure, compared to 484,395 children coming out of our school system. Honorable Speaker, we need to give more thinking to the problem of youth employment in order to find a way forward and accept that this is a crisis and we are not making any use of what is called population dividend or youth dividend. Honorable Speaker, if we are to deal with the economy, the President has told us that yes, there has been a growth in GDP, and in terms of the economy, it has not gone very far to indicate what is the way forward. Honorable Speaker, the economy comprises 3 facets: industry, agriculture. The President has mentioned that yes, there is mining, minerals are being mined, zircon, ilmenite, rutile. The Minister of Finance told us in his budget speech. The President simply said that, well, there's an investigation plan. This is coming to 2 years of managing the affairs of a country. I must emphasize to the President that the mining sector is a source of wealth, sovereign national wealth. What we are parading as development by relying 10.2 billion on foreign grants and budget support is not really a manifestation of sustainable development. So where are we going to get the money? It's not only saying 800 million from taxation. Taxation can never be the base for sustainable development. We can only maintain services, but we must get additional wealth from where minerals constitute one of the basic sources. And nothing is said to us. Yet if you go into our foreign trade, it is very clear that minerals are being exported. So we need clarity on this matter. And National Assembly members, I am sure, may have already or will be raising questions so that we settle this matter. We must know what the country has. The minister said that there is some form of cooperation to try to get the information, but we're still not getting the concrete information. Honorable Speaker, we've also been told that there is potential for oil production, petroleum production. Now, the President has just mentioned that this is in the pipeline, but we've been told by the minister, mentioning in fact the name of the company, and that there is a partnership between government and the company in the budget speech. One would have expected that we'll get details, more details, not only on the exploration, but the issue of drilling, time-bound details on this matter. But that is not forthcoming in the actual speech of the President. Honorable Speaker, we've seen the need to add value to our agricultural produce, to fisheries, etc. And constantly we are told by the Minister of Trade that that is the direction of the government. But we must move from policy to programs, from programs to actual projects to deal with these situations. And time is moving. 2 years is not far off. That's 40% if the President stays 5 years, more than 2/3 if the President stays 3 years. But essentially, what is very clear is that we need to come up with these programs that will lead us to be able to move into the industrial trade. Not just talking about sand mining, not only about construction. How do we build the productive base of the economy to produce manufactured goods so that at least we can have what you call export substitution, import substitution, by producing what we import. That should be the direction. Honorable Speaker, and if we move into that direction, you cannot talk about private sector-led growth without talking about the banking system, without talking about the institutions of accumulation. You look, Honorable Speaker, the state of our banking system. The minister in his budget speech at page 16 emphasized this to us, that total assets of the banking industry as at end September 2017 stood at 36.2 billion, which is an increase relative to 31.3 billion at the end of September 2016. But he said gross loans and advances, on the other hand, decreased by 16.5% to 4 billion in September. So there is the investment in the productive base is not evident here. Maybe the President could have given us more information to show that, well, there is work in progress. And hopefully we'll be able to get more information next year that this is how we can legitimately see investment in the productive base of the economy so that you see that loans to the private sector is increasing, and therefore the productive base is growing, and measure the amount of employment being generated by those sectors. That's the only way we can know that something is being done about employment. Honorable Speaker, when we go to the issue of agriculture, the past government talked about feeding us, and in fact established targets when we will no longer import rice. By 2015, we could only produce 57,000 tons when we needed almost 200,000. Complete failure of policy. But the new government does not have to be a policy in terms of strategically telling us when will we be able to feed ourselves. Is there a goal to feed ourselves? What have we done to be able to get close to that goal? 2 years. So it is important for us to be strategic. And if you look at agriculture, you look at GCAR, FASTEC, all these projects, over 4 billion, going to 5 billion over the years. Most of these projects are almost coming to the end of their lifespan. What have we done to be able to feed ourselves? This is what we need to interrogate, to find out the challenges, to come out with the policy initiative to be able to address them. Honorable Speaker, we've heard from the member for Nyami, and it's very clear. You have tractors. You are talking about mechanized farming. You've taken them over. We are told that there is supposed to be mixed farming centers. They are telling us mixed farming say how many years? What stops us from establishing mixed farming everywhere now? What stops it? We are taking loans for different things. We are even told $25 million into the information sector. We say agriculture is the backbone, we should be able to feed ourselves. If we can go and take those 25 million, what stops us from taking those loans to build the mixed farming centers? What stops us from taking those tractors into those mixed farming centers so you transform them not only from being model farmers, but providing an infrastructure to be able to enhance mechanization so that they will be the authority that will ensure the use of those tractors. So essentially, that is what the change means, is rethinking, is to look at what was being done wrongly and right it. That's what change is all about. And Honorable Speaker, look at fisheries. We are simply told about the licenses. We leave others to come and fish our waters and take it and make billions. We receive just millions in license, and we are proud of that. But we take 25 million for ICT. But what about fishing trawlers? What stops us from doing that? What logic tells us that that is not possible? What mind? So essentially, Honorable Speaker, we are wasting our own time. There is a Millennium Challenge enterprise. I met the leaders before, and they were talking about the river transport. We are talking about building bridges. Our waters had to bring the British, Portuguese, everywhere to Gambia because of the navigability of our area. We complain about the roads with this heavy transport, ruining it. River transport is the alternative. It can take all the heavy goods to up country, and we'll have wharves, we'll build employment. Just imagine you're talking about, let's give emphasis to science, technology. Is it just for its sake? The GTI could have been transformed. You train these people to be able to build wharves, to be able to build vessels. That's what development is all about. So, Honorable Speaker, I cannot continue to seize the floor, but I must emphasize that there is a lot of rethinking that needs to be done to this document as far as the development of our agriculture, the development of our industry, and the development of our services. Honorable Speaker, let me go directly to the service sector, education. Honorable Speaker, we said education is the foundation of development. Teachers constitute the cornerstone of the education system. Just yesterday, young people who are already interviewed came to my office and indicated that they cannot go because they have to pay $7,000 to be enrolled in that institution. What are we doing? Are we really ready to build our education system? Why shouldn't priority be given to that? Even if we were to talk about a national level, there's an education level. We need to look at that level. When they bring this level, let's look at this level. Let's find out how much over the years has been paid into that level. That's how you finance education. But where is the money? I'm not saying that there is corruption and anything. I'm not making any allegations. I don't know. But we'll ask to find out what is this education levy about. Why couldn't have there been a levy to really ensure that we give these teachers, our young people who want to be teachers, all the facilities necessary for them to be able to gain the training necessary to be able to teach our nation? That is important, Honorable Speaker. We should really look into that. The same thing with the level of primary education. We are saying this education is free. Well, we are checking now. The school system is open. We look at how free that education is, Honorable Speaker. These are the challenges that we really need to look at. Honorable Speaker, we go into energy. Energy, it has been made very clear to us that the energy service that we are rendering now falls far short of what we need. And energy is about production, it's about transmission, it's about distribution. And you have to link all this to finance. So there is really no systematic presentation on how the government intends to address the energy problem. We've been told certain initiatives, but the initiatives we are told do not seem to give the productive base of energy to the country. It seems like the productive base is external, and then we are only consumers. There is nothing wrong in international cooperation. If you have studied it and see that it will give you an edge in order to be able to move towards sustainability. But what I see is an equation that is not moving towards sustainability, is moving towards dependency. And we need to interrogate this by getting all those agreements and documents in this August body so that we can study it ourselves and see whether this is actually in the best enlightened interest of the country, or it's just a short-term measure and there is a long-term measure that is supposed to overtake it. Honorable Speaker, we've seen the issue of environment. Now it is dealing not only with electricity, water, but also sewerage. We've not seen any sewerage system outside of Banjul. And raw sewage is just being poured everywhere. And the reason why the linkage is made is actually out of a sewerage system, you can also have production of electricity. So there is a link. And we need to find out what this link should be under the new dispensation. And we hope that environment will move with energy so that they can look at this sewerage problem, waste disposal problem together, so that we'll add value to our waste management system. That is absolutely essential. We've seen from the report from the Health Committee the problem of medical waste being a serious challenge. So something needs to be done. When we have this report, it will feed into policy, and ultimately it will feed into programs to be able to address the needs and aspirations of our people. Honorable Speaker, we come to the issue of health. We've seen a health sector with an Apex health institution meant to be a training center for doctors. Honorable Speaker, we need to give more emphasis to that and give more support in building such institutions and more collaboration between the private health services and the public health services. Because you have private health services with certain facilities that is not existing in the public sector, but the public sector is meant to serve everyone. So there is a need for strategic linkage. And I'm convinced that the Minister of Health should initiate that strategic linkage by convening meetings with these providers, identify their areas of specialization, because the individual health providers in the private sector may only specialize in certain areas, or we encourage them to specialize in certain areas, get the materials in certain areas that our people go to get service for in other countries as a starting point, as government build up its capacity to be able to address the problem. So, Honorable Speaker, I will conclude by dealing with the issue of justice and the conclusion of the President. Fundamentally, as sovereign people, we are supposed to relate to each other on the basis of sovereign equality, and our fundamental rights should be protected. And consequently, the transition is about reviewing the whole security sector, the instruments, the institutions that are supposed to deliver our liberty. The Constitutional Review Commission is on, and we should ensure that that Constitutional Review Commission will serve the purpose for which we created it, because it is this body that actually created it. And I will suggest, Honorable Speaker, that we create a committee. Since it is a transitional institution that will come to an end at a given, it has a lifespan, it can be a special select committee to really accompany these commissions that are established, so that we continue. If you look at the debate in the media, many issues are being said, and Honorable Speaker, oversight is needed. And I would make a proposal that ultimately we look into this and have accompanying committees, special select committees, so that we do not allow these institutions to fail, because this is what will help us to consolidate the very democracy that the President has enjoined us to uphold and preserve in this country. Honorable Speaker, yes, people talk about the danger of Rwanda, danger of civil war among our population. I would remind people that there was a time in 2016 when you would not find any cutlass in the mountains or shovels. And people were ready for war. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen because we eventually realized, military as well as civil, that Gambia is the only homeland we have. And if people start within weeks, over 50,000 refugees, 120,000 displaced persons, I think I'm one of those ones. So this is just feelings. You could have imagined if it continued. Probably none of us would be. So we should not forget easily that it is only a people that can safeguard our own security. ECOMIC came later, although the threat was there. But it's because of our behavior that they also did not come and impose their will. And if they had the power to impose their will, that would have also had consequences. So essentially, we must bear in mind that collectively we are each other's keepers. And our knowledge of who we are, my conclusion, Honorable Speaker, will affirm that the Gambian nation, the Gambian Republic, has citizens. That's why we're talking about ID cards and national documents. Because we are citizens of our country. And as citizens, we can only have one ID card, one voter's card. We are equal in sovereignty. Yes, individually we have demographic characteristics. We belong to a religion, we belong to an ethnic group, we belong to a gender, we belong to a religion. But irrespective of all that, we are Gambian citizens, a Gambian nation, Gambian economy, Gambian services, Gambian public servants, Gambian security agents, all Gambians designed to make Gambia free and prosperous. So if anybody consigns oneself into any gender, into any ethnic group, into any religious group, you are an inferior person because you are smaller than the nation. You do not belong to a majority, you belong to a minority. The majority is the nation, is the Gambian citizen, is the Gambian people. And that's what the president is emphasizing. That's what we must emphasize. Whether you like it or not, that is the reality. And failing to realize that reality, then there will be no Gambia. So you choose Gambia or no Gambia. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.